What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, and today we're going to take a look at the final film from the early portion of the Tom Hanks filmography, 1988's Punchline, starring Sally Field, Tom Hanks, John Goodman, Mark Rydell, Damon Wayans, and Candace Cameron. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. And like I said during the introduction, today's film is the final one of the early Tom Hanks films, the 80s Tom Hanks films, that we had to get caught up on due to the fact that I didn't have them, have access to them, or really even know about them when I did Tom Hanks Month in January. Today we're going to talk about the 1988 film Punchline with Tom Hanks and Sally Field, who would be paired together again about 6 years later in Forrest Gump, when Sally Field would play his mama. But I digress. Let's get into Punchline. Now, as our film opens, we meet Stephen Gold, who's a struggling medical student who also moonlights as a stand-up comedian. And it very quickly becomes evident that he is lousy at the former and excels at the latter. And yet, when he is given a chance at the big time, he cracks under the pressure. We then meet Lila, a dedicated housewife who yearns to become a comic. Now, she has the raw talent, but she doesn't have the command of the craft that Stephen possesses. At first, Stephen doesn't give Lila the time of day, but when he is derailed by the unexpected appearance of his father and brother, both of whom are medical professionals, Lila's unfailing support wins Stephen's affections. So he begins to teach her the fundamentals of stand-up comedy. Lila tells him that she spent all of her savings in order to buy jokes, and Stephen advises her to connect with the audience in order to unveil the honest humor in her life as a wife and as a mother. Lila begins to discover her natural gift for making people laugh, and an uneasy friendship develops between the two as they share the personal conflicts that they must resolve. Stephen, with his desire to make it big versus his ability to do so, and Lila with her love of comedy versus her love for her family. Stephen, over time, begins to appear emotionally unstable and begins to develop a romantic attraction to Lila, much to her dismay. As time goes on, Lila struggles to remain loyal to her family as well as to Stephen, all while maintaining her conviction and love of comedy. After another meeting with and rejection by Lila, Stephen mimes a painful rendition of Gene Kelly's famous dance routine from Singing in the Rain. The film culminates in a competition at the gas station comedy club, where Stephen, Lila, and other aspiring comedians have been performing throughout the course of the movie. A judges panel of television executives promised the winner a primetime opportunity on the Johnny Carson show, which has the potential to lead to possible stardom. As the comedians compete on stage, the characters also grapple with conflicts among their desires for success on stage, their loyalties to one another, as well as the expectations of their families. Pending the judge's tally, with the note of support from her husband in her hand, who has been completely opposed to Lila doing this throughout the entire movie. And after hearing that Steven only has 2 of the 5 judges' votes, Lila withdraws from the contest, just in case the winner is me, and persists in leaving the club when Romeo, the club owner, reveals that she was, in fact, the winner. Lila leaves with her husband, who, after watching his wife do stand up for the first time, is won over, and even begins to suggest ideas for her next set. The pair walk away, arm in arm, reminiscing about the funny and endearing sayings of their children. While inside the club, due to Lila's backing out, Steven is declared the winner of the show, which reflects Lila's judgment as well as that of their competing fellow comics as our film comes to its conclusion. This was another really fun, good story to sink your teeth into. You know, again, I didn't know much what to expect. It looked like it was a film about stand-up and the life of a stand-up comedian, but didn't really know what to expect. But again, much like yesterday's film, Every Time We Say Goodbye, as the layers of the onion begin to unravel, so to speak, and we get introduced to all these characters and the conflict and the drama, and Lila wanting to be a good wife to her husband and a good mother to her kids, but at the same time, wanting something more out of life. We're seeing Tom Hanks's character, Steven, and he wants to do right by his dad and his family, but he just doesn't feel the medical profession. He feels comedy. He makes people laugh. And throughout the entire movie, Steven is presented as being the best in the area, until he begins to show Lila all the tricks of the trade. And you can slowly see Lila's progression as she starts to get better and better and better, to where she's begun to eclipse Steven. But even still, all the comics of the gas station, they know that this whole contest was set up to basically give Steven his big break. So when he didn't get the majority of the votes and Lila backed out, we knew it was going to be Steven's time to shine. And rightfully so. He turned over a new leaf from being the cocky, arrogant, conceited guy he was at the beginning of the film, taking Lila under his wing, showing her the ropes, helping her grow and excel to where, if there had been a sequel, it definitely would have been Lila's rise to fame. Clearly, there was no need for a sequel because it ended perfectly. Lila found something more out of life and became successful at it, and Steven got the big break that he needed and wanted. So it was perfect. Perfect ending to a great movie. Damon Wayans didn't have a huge part, but we get to see him in some of the gas station scenes, one of the other comics on stage. Candace Cameron, either just before Full House or just during like the first season of Full House, very, very young. So cool to see those guys that would become bigger names later. Damon Wayans, of course, within Living Color. Candace Cameron through Full House and her Hallmark movies and whatever later on in life. But so cool to see them pop up in this film during the starting points of their career. When it comes to my rating for this film, I'm don't give it as good a marks as I gave yesterday's film, but I still 3.5 out of 5 stars for Punchline. I did thoroughly enjoy this film. It will definitely start making its way into my rotation a little bit more here, I think. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good story. I thought it was a great resolution. I thought the supporting characters all did amazing in their jobs in helping to push the story and help lift these characters up to where they needed to be. So good. John Goodman was amazing as Lila's husband. Even though you didn't like him through a good, say about half this film, because he was always opposed to Lila living out her dream. But once he came around and he asked her, can I see you do this? You knew that he was starting to have a change of heart. And then for her to get the note from him after her set, basically saying, you won, I love you, you did amazing. So good. And then to see them leaving the club, him giving ideas and try and help her and nurture her, just like a husband should do for his wife and as a wife should do for her husband. So good. 3.5 out of 5 stars. What do you guys think out there? Those of you that have seen Punchline, let me know. If you're watching the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. Whatever you do, though, when you get out there on social media, let's try to get those hashtags trending. Hashtag Casa D18 Studios, hashtag Renegades Reviews, hashtag Renegade Returns, and of course, the ever popular hashtag Shenanigans. We interrupt this episode of Renegades Reviews for an important announcement about
merchandising.
Merchandising? What's that?
Merchandising. Come, I'll show you. Merchandising, where the real money's made.
Make sure you go over to teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network for all the t-shirts you see here from the West Coast professor, Jeff Meacham himself. You can get shirts for the Jeff Meacham Network, Talk Wrestling, as well as the red and gold Meachamania shirts. And while you're there, don't forget to get your shirts of the Casa D18 Studios Brotherhood, the Dads on Wrestling shirt, the Renegade J.J. Williams, Statboy Sports Bar, and the hashtag Statboy Approved shirt. Make sure you go over to teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network and score your shirts today. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, right back here on the Casa D18 Studios channel for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, when we jump ahead to 2002 in order to begin to pick up the films of Tom Hanks where we left off last time. And we discuss The Road to Perdition, starring Tom Hanks, Tyler Hoechlin, Paul Newman, Jude Law, Daniel Craig, Stanley Tucci, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Ciaran Hinds, and Anthony LaPaglia. You're not going to want to miss out on that one tomorrow, right back here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, right back here on an all-new Renegades Reviews, when we discuss The Road to Perdition. To all my loyal fans and friends out there tuning in for the premiere, leaving your thoughts and comments over here, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Likewise, all my loyal fans and viewers out there tuning in a little bit later in the day, watching on demand, leaving your thoughts and comments down here. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate all my loyal fans and viewers out there tuning in on a regular basis, showing me that love, that support, going to the archives, digging up those old episodes, watching where we came from in the original run of the Casa D18 Studios with the Dads, Renegade of Wrestling, Stat Boy, After the Bell, etc., in order to help me get some more viewership hours, boost me up to where I can eventually get monetized. Thank you very much to each and every one of you who tuned in for me and joined me today. And I will see you guys next time.